Hey, what is going on, guys? It's time for the rare figure review here on my channel. We're going to be taking a look at the NXEdge Style Ex-S Gundam Blue Splinter Type. So this is a variant of the previously released NXEdge Style Ex-S Gundam, which I always kind of regretted not getting, so I was really happy that they were coming out with this again, and now with a different kind of color scheme for it. It's got the Blue Splinter type of camouflage on the blue parts, which looks very cool. So I don't really normally like a lot of figures just because I prefer to build stuff myself, so stuff like Robot Damashi and all this kind of stuff, I don't really buy or collect any of that stuff. NXEdge Style, I have a couple of them because I do like the look, I like the proportions of them. They're sort of like larger converged figures that you can actually move around and stuff as well too. They're kind of very reminiscent of that in terms of just their proportions and everything. And you guys know I love converged figures. So anyway, let's get right down into it. Just taking a look around the packaging of this, so you can see on the bottom of the box, you just got a different pose there for the XS. On the side of the box over here, some different action poses showing the different stuff. It's got this beam smart gun, of course, the beam sabers. The back side of the Gundam is going to look like that. Over here we've got a big profile shot of that on the front. On the top of the box, just an NXEdge Style logo, and then on the back, just a couple little detail shots there and a nice big image of the full figure. So it doesn't necessarily come with a ton of accessories or anything, but just a few things here. It is also going to include a stand, so we'll see that. And then, as you can see here, basically you got the main figure, the Gundam, the backpack, the beam smart gun, the beam sabers, some hand options, and this little option piece there, which I'm not sure what this connection piece is for at the moment, but we'll find out here in a moment. You do also have some instructions in case you need or want to use those as well too. Yes, and as I expected, it looks like that connection piece is for connecting the beam smart gun onto the front of the crotch. So if you want to have that connected on there, you use that connection piece. If not, you'll just leave this piece on here as it is. Let's pop out the figure and take a look at this guy here first. So all the pre-painting on there, I gotta say, it does look pretty nice. Everything looks pretty clean. Not seeing any places where like the painting got kind of messed up, like masking or anything. The splinter camo painting on there on the blue looks nice. The pre-printed decals on the shoulders look very nice as well too. Around here on the back, you got some nice colors on there. You do have like a little bit of like some mold line on some of these parts. I can see a little bit of mold line there on some of there on the front of the knees, on the shoulder parts, and that's all kind of expected. Looks like the incom and the head is not removable, so that's just kind of molded into there, but just pre-painted red for you. The head articulation, the head will look up to there, down to there. The shoulder joint will swing forward, and you can then bring the arms up. Oh, not all that far, only to about there. It's going to be about the extent of that. Looks like the wings on the top of the shoulder can be rotated, and also the fuel tanks on the underside of the shoulder can also be rotated a little bit just to kind of get those out of the way for you. Obviously this is not going to transform, so there's not much else that you can do with that stuff, just kind of move them around a little bit. The arm then works pretty normally. You got some rotation there at the top, it looks like. Rotation here at the elbow, giving you more than 90 degrees, so I mean a decent elbow bend for what this is. Some rotation here at the hand. And I'm noticing that the chest part is removable, giving you basically the chest of just the normal S Gundam. So I don't think that there's just a S Gundam variant of this, and as far as I know, there hasn't been any announcement of any sort of like Deep Striker or a BST version of this or anything announced, but it seems like that's certainly open to the possibility with that chest part being so easily removable like that there. In the waist, basically just have some rotation here like that. The beam cannons on the sides of the legs can also be rotated forward like that for firing those beam cannons there. The legs can come out to the side to about there like that, and up to the front. They're going to be kind of blocked once that knee starts to crash into the front of the chest, that super long knee. Give that a bend and you can get a pretty nice bend out of that, more than 90 degrees, so that's pretty good for the knee bend there. And then the foot will be able to move up and down a little bit side to side, ever so slightly, and then up underneath the feet. You've got some full detail there as well too, so overall not too bad in terms of the articulation. Here's a look at the backpack. Again, all the detail looks nice. Looks like all of the beam cannons here, you can rotate those a little bit, so you can kind of slightly change the angle of those. These flaps don't move. The stabilizer does move up and down, and it's very nicely detailed. I'll say, as you can see, lots of detail on there. It does have a seam line down the middle of that though, which is not all that noticeable, so I'm not too upset about it, but it certainly is noticeable up here towards the front where you got that big vent there and the seam line goes right down the middle of that. That's unfortunate. This will just plug right onto the back of the Gundam there, like so. And the beam smart gun, also pretty nicely detailed. Seam line there, again as expected, but the radome there on that looks pretty cool. You got the little articulated arm here for plugging that onto the front skirt, and just the handles looking pretty simple. When it's not being held in the hand, it's gonna look kind of ugly there, but might just want to make sure you keep that in the hand. And speaking of hands, then our open hands do look pretty nice. Should be good for doing the classic Ex-S pose there with the hands like spread out across the gun. And then here's your beam sabers as well too. Not clear blue, but a metallic blue paint on those. It looks pretty good. So here it is doing the pose, and we'll also take a look at a couple of different poses here as well too to round out the review. But the only problem with doing the classic Ex-S pose here is that the arms are kind of too short, and it's holding like the articulated arm for the gun holds it out a little bit far, and the arms are a little bit short, so the arms don't actually reach to the gun is the only difficult part. I think the pose still does look pretty cool, and the Ex-S always looks really cool having the smart gun just kind of held up on its crotch right there and doing the whole arm spread out pose like that. I still think it looks awesome, but it just doesn't quite pull it off in this form necessarily. But the great thing about this figure is that what it can pull off is some really great action poses, which other versions of this, the HG and the MG, don't really do quite as well. It's such a big, massive design, and the HG is a little bit old. The MG definitely got a lot better with the newer 1.5 version of the MG that came out, but still, it's just such a big, massive kit. A little bit tricky to do like really super cool dynamic poses with this. And the problem with this version is that, you know, it is smaller. It's basically like an SD kit, and, you know, doing really dynamic poses with SD kits can be a little bit tricky, but this one's definitely, I think, probably one of the best versions of the Ex-S that you can get if you want to do some wild poses with it. So it's a little bit trickier to do with the actual model kits, but what do you guys think about this figure or NXEdge figures in general? I feel like the NXEdge style line is kind of dying out a little bit. I don't know, what do you guys think? Are you guys interested in the line or not? I've reviewed a couple of them in the past, so if you want to go back and check out my previous reviews, you can find those here on my channel. And if you guys are interested in checking out some of the figures or other figures or just Gunpla or all that kind of stuff in general, of course you guys can check out the USA Gundam store, so big thank you to them for making it all possible. If you guys want to check out everything there on the store, the link and the coupon code for you guys to use, as always, will be down in the video description below, so check that out. But yeah, I think the next step for me is probably going to be spraying some gloss coat on this so that I can go ahead and then do some panel lining and detail painting and put some top coat and some decals and all that on this. Is what I want to do with that. So next time you guys see this figure, should hopefully be pretty soon in the future, and then I'll be working on this a little bit more, detailing it up, and then we'll take a look at how much even better it's going to look with some detail work and top coat and all that done on it. I think it should look really nice. Certainly not going to do like a full repaint or anything like that, but I think it'll look great just adding some detail on it. So I'll see you guys with that, hopefully in the pretty near future. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your support, liking the video, commenting, subscribing, all that's greatly appreciated as well too. So until next time, guys, hope you're all having a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.